Why are so many top realtors across Canada leaving the firms that they've been with for years and joining us at Real Broker? This is one of the questions I get almost daily, and I thought I'd put together a specific video just to share the conversations we get to have and show the math around the monetary benefits for top producing agents to be here at our firm. All right, let me get right to it. So what I've got in front of the screen here, if you've seen any of my videos before, it's my famous modeler. And this modeler has become such a great tool to showcase the cost structure if someone were to leave where they're at and join us at Real and take advantage of our wealth building plan on top of becoming just and maintaining their top producer status. Because there's a lot of layers to this. So what I've got here is what you'll see on the left-hand side is as I scroll down, I've got a current traditional big box Canadian franchise kind of cost structure for what an agent has to deal with. And then I've got beside it, we're going to paint what it costs to be with Real Broker. And then of course, we'll layer in all these benefits that come for being a top producer at Real and how it truly impacts your pocketbook. Because us as top producers, money matters, right? Hey, I don't know if everybody wants to talk about it, but what we will show you on the screen here is how much money you're leaving on the table year in, year out, year in, year out for the longevity of your career, which those numbers start to get wild and exciting. So what I've got here is I put in a 40 deal agent. I'm in Calgary, Alberta, so I put kind of like our average sale price, give or take. Maybe for the top producers, they'll be a little bit higher. Let's put them closer to, say, 650, which is like almost around the single family detached value. So 40 deals. I've got our 3.5%, 1.5% fee structure. Now, if you're an agent over in say Toronto, or you're an agent in some other markets where you're doing with more flat fees, we can manipulate this together on this form. But for here, we'll just put this situation in. What I've got in here is a typical fee structure, which from a lot of the traditional brands. Currently, and up until the last few years, a lot of the stronger agents were represented at some of the big national franchise firms. But those people are migrating over to Real Broker. So I've got a cost structure that I've heard about 100 times now placed into here, and I'll show you what it costs. So this agent actually, just to give you an idea, if you look on this column here, $21,000 is it would cost to be in Calgary at one of the big, say, 3 franchise brokerages. And that's pretty typical. And if you're in other markets in Metro Vancouver, if you're in rural areas, that number might be more. I've heard of some traditional franchise agents who are paying close to 100,000 over 40 deals in their markets, 60,000, 40,000. Our market's pretty competitive in Calgary, and I'll just put it at 21 just to say, hey, that's on the low end. What I've also done here is Real Broker's share purchase plan is toggled on. This is one of the major reasons people are coming over to Real Broker, because they're able to build wealth. And I'm going to show you how that works. I'm going to put that on. I'm also going to put on the top producers, who are usually high influence agents. They're highly respected in their markets. Not only are they great people because they're and great salespeople because they're putting up big numbers, but they're generally people that a lot of realtors in their market like to kind of piggyback around. So I'm actually going to change this to say, that average top producer, if they were to make a change to Real Broker, there's probably a few agents that would join them right off the hop. They're close friends. Maybe they've got a few team agents, or maybe some friends that they refer at the office, because the numbers work for them too. So I'm going to just put 3 in here, okay? I've got the current share price, which is as of today, March 12th. And then the exchange rate, because of course our shares on the NASDAQ in the US, so we have a factor up when it comes to the value of our dollar. Now I've also got in here, this is the annual share price growth. So I just put it in to match the S&P 500 for the last 15 years. It's 9% year over year. Let's just assume the stock we get just grows at that pace. Now, if you watch any of my other videos, if you've watched other people, or you've checked out REAX, the stock ticker price, our increase is much greater than that. But let's play super safe. All right. So this top producer at their current brokerage would have a $21,000 spend. Now, right off the top, that same agent, if you look at the Real Broker cost structure, would pay out of pocket about the same amount of money. So let me explain how we got there as a top producer, because that's not the only part of the story. $12,000 cap, we pay that an 85 15 split, 85% to the agent, 15% to real broker, but it caps out really low. It caps out at 12 grand. So for a top producer, they're going to cap out within like a couple months, which is wild. And then it flips over to the deal fees. After capping, after you've made $80,000 gross, you get charged a $275 nominal deal fee per deal. And that goes up and up and up and actually caps out, the way the numbers work, the way I've put it in here, that caps out at $9,000. If we had an agent that did, say, 45 deals, let's just put that in here, you'll see $500 show up. So that means there's a few deals past capping that the agent gets charged. In Canada, that's at $125 per deal. That ramps up with 4 deals now past cap, and they've paid now another $500. But again, now you're up into really high levels, so that $100 per deal is pretty irrelevant. Now beyond that, this agent also, like everybody, pays $1,200 annual for the brokerage fee. The way that works is it's $400 off your first 3 deals. So again, the top producer will have this covered likely in the first month. 400 on the first deal, 400 on the second deal, 400 on the third. So that's the cost structure that got this 45 deal agent now that I've plugged in here to have a out-of-pocket cost of $22K to $21K. You're going to say, well, shoot, it's about the same. Why would I bother changing? Why would I go through the signage, the branding, all the effort to go through this when the costs line up? I hear so many great things. Well, that's the first part of the story. If you were comparing apples to apples, that's where it would stop, but you're not. You're comparing apples to oranges and a full basket of fruit. So let me explain what I mean by this. So here we are. The first part was expenses. The second part is awards, rewards. And if you can see here on the typical brokerage, there is 0. There is none. There is nada. See, blank, 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 blank. But we've got a whole bunch of numbers showing up here. And I'm going to explain this to you from the top producer standpoint, this 45 deal a year agent. So you get a capping share reward at Real Broker. It's currently 150 shares on the US, NASDAQ, factored up. So that's worth about $660 today. It's not nothing, that's for sure. But then all of a sudden there's this $24,000 amount. This top producer has achieved what's called elite status. That elite status happens when the agent pays $9,000 in deal fees. In this case, they've paid the $9,000. They've also paid a couple hundred more here. So what that means is it's 33 deals past your cap. So past that $80,000 gross, whenever you hit that. If you did a couple luxury deals, you hit it right away. If you do 5 or 6 deals in my market, you hit it. And then you need 33 more deals past cap, and you would have achieved $9,000 paid into the company of those deal fees, those $275 deal fees. Well, they've done that. What happens here? And this is the big kicker and why so many of the top producers are leaving the big firms, even though they might like their broker or they have longevity there, is we now get awarded $24,000. This is on a per year basis. If an agent keeps hitting this elite status, they keep getting rewarded that number of shares. Now, the way this broke down is 16,000 of this is gifted to you. There's nothing else. You just have to stay at the company. It has a 3-year vesting period, so it shows up in your Morgan Stanley ShareWorks account. Great, you get to see it. It's purchased at this at that point share price, and you get to watch what happens and how it grows as our share price grows over the years. After 3 years, it vests. You're allowed to sell it and use it. Most people are holding on to it because they're watching our run and the growth. Now there's an extra 8,000 here. 16 is without any strings attached, nothing. You just have to be here. The other 8 is for the elite agents. If a top producer is producing at this level, guess what? You know a thing or two about this business. Well, those agents are able to coach back into the Real Academy. If they do a one time per month session to share their knowledge, they get rewarded an extra $8,000. That's pretty wild, right? So you're doing and sharing what you're probably already doing and sharing to your own team leaders or people in your market because of your influence. Now you get to do it to the Real Academy and you get awarded another $8,000. So that's a big number. Now we get into the other stuff. Real Broker, we have a share purchase plan. The top producers continue to max out this plan. So how this works is they take 5% of your net check, if you opt into it, which you should, and they save your off your paycheck, purchase Real Broker stock. The stock you save up is this $3,400. This is in the pre-cap environment. So deal by deal, as you do a deal, they'll take 5% off, they'll purchase stock, and then they match you 10% for free. So this number 340 here is your pre-cap real awarded stock. It's free. It just has to be there for 1 year before you sell it, and you've got it. So this is your own money forced into an automatic savings plan, purchasing our stock at low prices, as well as being gifted 10% free. Pretty darn good, right? Then it gets even better. So again, this is the video about top producers. As you sell more and cap out, Real Broker honors us as top producers and lets us even save and get rewarded higher. So at this point, every check now, you no longer have a split, right? They'll allow you to save 10% of your net paycheck. And when you do that, they award you 20% bonus. See, the amount saved per check goes up. You likely don't need this money at home as much anymore. And guess what? They match you even more. So this agent caps out on the post-cap maxed amount of share purchase plan. This is amazing. So this is $22,000 of your own money that's slowly been taken off your checks as you crest up to that 45 deal mark. And along the way, that 20% free is maxing out to $4,500. Again, free. So at this point, this 45 deal agent in my market has been awarded $660 worth of shares, 24,000 in shares. They've saved 3,400 of their own, got given 340. They were saved another 22,500, sorry, and they were gifted another 4,500. It's a lot of money, right? All beside a bunch of zeros in every other traditional or independent brokerage. Then we go one layer further. Remember I said this top agent likely has a few friends. And we have data to show that as agents transition to Real Broker and they are of higher influence and of higher stature, they do bring a few friends with them because we want to be around people we like and trust. And many of us who are in the team leader role have a few people that would come with us. So what happens here? Real Broker, when somebody joins the company as a result of your introduction, they sponsor to you. The agent is gifted back portions of the company earned dollar back to the agent that brought him. So in this case, remember we said 3 agents. The max per year that we get rewarded back per agent is $4,000. So if we have one top producer and they have 3 friends that cap out, pretty standard situation in our industry, they would earn 12 grand in cash. So as the agent closes business, those guys pay their splits into Real Broker. They keep the rest. Real Broker then spits part of the company earned dollar back to the sponsored agent. That's what this rev share is. It's not out of the agent's pocket. It's out of Real Broker's actual gross. Amazing, right? So this is another 12,000 gifted. And you do get a few rewards. You get a few awards, 75 shares per agent that joins as a result. And this is what the number looks like. So if you follow me so far, you are going to be amazed by what we see now. So here we are, the total picture. I want to break it down into 3 ways. Share purchase plan value. And this is your own agent contributed savings. So this agent would have been able to save $25,900 throughout their journey throughout the year with the automatic savings plan. Pretty amazing, because most of the time we don't do so well at our house. We Starbucks our way to death. Then there's the awards. And this is, again, the cap reward, the Hitting Elite Award, the pre-stock that was gifted to you, the post-capping stock that was gifted to you, plus the attraction, because you got a few friends join you, and then that rev share amount. That is $42,000 gifted to you. So this number starts to look a little teeter-tottery, doesn't it, towards your traditional brand. The traditional brand cost structure is still $21K, right? Like I said, in other major markets and rural areas, this is usually a lot higher for a lot of traditional brands, top agents. Our structure would actually have us, so this agent got paid $19,000 to be here. Isn't that a big difference? Look at the cost savings for this agent in 1 year to join Real Broker. It's a $41,000 swing. That is wild. What that also means is net worth, because in this 41, I am not adding in your own savings. That wouldn't be fair, right? This is just the awards. This is the difference in the cost structure with all these free awards back to you. So the first year net worth, if we add in all of those rewards, you're up to a $68,000 of net worth gain in 1 year as a 45 deal agent here in Calgary based on my scenario. In 5 years' time, you've set your life off completely differently, up to a $410,000 net worth. That's at this one scenario. Now, when I say top producer, many of you are thinking 45 deals is not a top producer. I do 55, I do 60. This kind of stuff is what changes the game and why you're seeing such a migration from the old school traditional brand to the cloud-based brokerage model that allows so much to come back to you as the agent. So again, I get excited by this. If you are a team leader and you have more people on your team, we can talk about that scenario. If you're a top producer and you do kind of high-end luxury and you want to see how this works for you. If you're just on the precipice, just on the cusp of hitting to those numbers and your career's on a rise, you need to bolt on to a model like this, because the moment you do, you're going to flip the switch so fast. And even if you had none of these rewards, you'd see the cost structure is still the same. But then you hit the rewards, let alone the culture, let alone the technology, let alone being around amazing people and things that are changing the game beyond just the fee and reward structure. So again, I'm Darren Langell. If you wanted to book something with me so I can walk you through this scenario for you, please just book on the link below. I'd love to take the time. There's no obligation whatsoever. I've helped hundreds and hundreds of people come across to Real Broker now, so I'd be happy to answer any and all questions for you. Thank you for your time if you made it this far. I hope you appreciated this video.